Okay, welcome Jack Butel. Thank you very much for coming and getting involved. It's my first ever Q&A. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny times. It's a bit of a quiet New Year and a quiet Christmas, but yeah, fingers crossed this year is a better year for everyone in general.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask how was your Christmas break?
Yeah, it was nice. I got to see the family, and I live with the girlfriend, so we kind of just spent some quality time together. Obviously, last year it was pretty much solid racing. Obviously, traveling back from Jersey all the time and having to self-isolate. It was yeah, it wasn't nice on her. So yeah, it was nice to spend some quality time with her and the family. Just a good old catch up.
Yes, definitely. After because the touring car season, it was in such a short space of time, and it was pretty much a full season we'd normally have. So
Yeah, it was. We only missed out on one round, but yeah, it was so jam-packed full. I think it was. We started in end of July, I think it was,
yeah,
first week of August, and finished second week of November. It was
yeah,
jam-packed. But yeah, now not doing it, it feels a bit weird that we haven't got to do anything till
yeah,
February. Um, but yeah, it is nice being home and being able to just relax and do some more training and hopefully be ready for the season.
definitely. Yeah. So when did you sort of start racing? When did you realise this is something you wanted to do as a career?
Yeah, so I started karting when I was 14, just in Jersey, didn't think anything of it, having a bit of fun. And then we have like our local hill climb. And I broke the hill climb record on the first ever
Really?
time I went up.
Wow.
So then I posted it on, I think it was Facebook. Someone that I was friends with on Facebook said, "Do you want to come drive a Formula Renault?" I was like, "Yeah, that'll be interesting." Drove it, and we were all right. And basically, it kind of went from there. And yeah, we haven't looked back since, and it's just been yeah, it's been amazing.
That's incredible. So you've done lots of GT racing. When did that how did that come about?
Yeah, so we went from F4. We did 2 years in F4, and then we went to LMP3, and then we did 2 years in LMP3, which we were pretty much settled, and we were going to carry on, but unfortunately, down to other drivers and stuff like that, it didn't happen. So the next stage was, well, what can we do? So we looked at the British GT rounds, looked where it was best to go, and we went with Optimum, and we're part of the Young Drivers Academy for Aston.
Yeah,
So that's where the GT world kind of started. And yeah, I think we did a year in British GT, and then we did some Lamborghini stuff and some Bentley stuff in there as well.
it's very cool. Very different to a British touring cars. How do they sort of compare to? Obviously, you were driving the Mercedes A class last season, so
Yeah, massively different. Obviously, there's a lot more mechanical grip down to these, where the other stuff I've driven is all down to aero. The other reason is rear wheel drive in front is a massive difference. Obviously, never driven a front wheel drive race car. That's another thing that I've had to get used to last year. And the contact. Obviously, there's a little bit more contact than there would be in a GT car. So that's another thing that I've had to learn and try get into this year and try get my elbows out for this year. I think that's going to be the main aim, is get the elbows out, get them qualifyings in, and get up in the points.
yeah, I think people don't really realise how difficult British touring cars is because
It's so competitive, or as everyone says, it is the most competitive series out there. That, well, you look at brands, and we last year we were what, 8 tenths, I think the whole grid was.
yeah,
Like, in no other racing I'd ever think you're going to get that, and it is amazing. Everyone there is so amazing. Even the organisers like Alan Gow and stuff, they're so nice people, and without them people, no one would be doing it.
yeah, definitely. So you came into British touring cars last year, but you came in very late on in the season, like just before it was about to start. So how did that come about?
Yeah, so I was meant to be driving for Bentley. So we'd signed the deal and everything like that, and in unfortunate circumstances with sponsors and that, they didn't want to because it was through Europe, they didn't want to be able to travel and stuff, so we had to pull out. And as we pulled out, I think it was the next day, we got a call from Norman from Sicily saying, "How do you fancy driving a touring car?" We were like, "Wow, yeah, we'd love to." And it was pretty much just had to check with sponsors and stuff like that to make sure they were happy with me doing it, because they were obviously the ones giving me the money. And yeah, we pretty much said on Monday, yeah, let's go for it. So yeah, we flew out 5 o'clock Monday night,
Really?
straight to Blyton, did testing on Blyton on Tuesday. And then, yeah, it was the race weekend. And then from there on, it was just non-stop.
That's incredible. And so soon before the weekend.
Yeah, well, I'd never seen the car, never done anything. And then within 6 days, I was on a British touring car grid.
Yeah.
So it was a bit overwhelming being on the grid for the first race. But I think towards the end, I think I knew that I was in the right place. I had the respect of the drivers, which I wanted to get for the first year. And then hopefully now next year we can go out and get the Elways out. Yeah.
Was British touring cars ever something you were always aiming to do, or something like that?
To a point, yes. It was something I always wanted to do. The aim is still to get to Le Mans. Le Mans is still the aim. Yeah. But I think with the touring cars, it's always something that you want to get in, get your publicity up and show that you can drive in a competitive series. I've shown that I can drive a GT car consistently in consistent times. I just now want to be able to go out and do then qualifying laps and then 20-minute stints. And hopefully this touring car experience is going to be able to give me that.
Was, as a championship as a whole, was it how you imagined it?
Better. You can't, really, until you're actually there physically doing it, you don't understand, like I said before, how much Alan Gow and everyone there puts in, even the teams, how much effort. Like, we go there Wednesday before, make sure everything's set up, go through the engineers. There's so much more behind the scenes that people don't see that there is, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of work goes into getting it done, especially last season with everything that was going on. You were familiar with all the circuits that you did on British touring cars?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. I hadn't been there for a couple of them for, I think, about 4 years when we did the F4. So it was just refreshing it and doing some sim work and stuff like that to be able to just refresh it and hopefully it'll do me some good. Obviously, for this year, we're obviously going to have done the tracks. So I know we're doing Thruxton again twice. Yeah. So I've got a bit more understanding about the tracks now than I did, 6 months ago.
Do you have a favourite track?
I would say probably Alton. Yeah. I seem to got to grips with Alton quite well. It used to be a track that I didn't really like. I don't know why or that, but in the touring car, I just seemed to click with it, and yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I like Alton. It's a very cool little circuit.
It is, and it's got so much history there as well. I mean, the history of everything just it is amazing there. It's an iconic track. Yeah, definitely.
So next season, you've signed with Accelerate Motorsport. Tell me, sort of, over like the winter break, when you're looking to sign with a new team, what comes into consideration when choosing who to sign with?
So you obviously look at how they've done in the season. Obviously, they're not a new team, but they're a new car. And to see how well they've done so far with a year's development is amazing. Like, don't know what they're going to be able to do in the next following years with more development, more testing. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. That's one of the reasons why we picked Accelerate, was because of the progress they already proved last year with it. Well, the first race, I think Smiley on the third race got P2. Yeah. So we already know the car's strong. We just need to fine tweak stuff and go from there. And I think that was the reason why we did it. I think they had 5 podiums out of the whole season. And for a first time car to go out and even get a podium, I think pretty well done.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any talks with you staying at Sicily?
There was. We did intend to stay at Sicily, but obviously with the new change in BMs, the budget just wasn't in our favour. We'd have loved to stay there, but we had to make the decision to jump to Accelerate. And yeah, we're now with Justina. And yeah, she's a lovely lady, and I can't wait to meet her in person. I haven't met her in person yet. We've only done a Zoom call and stuff like that. But yeah, can't wait to meet the team and go from there.
Yeah, it'll be definitely something to look forward to. What have you got any like aims or goals for next season? What are you hoping to do?
Yeah, I want to get in the points. I think consistently in the points, I think that's where we need to be. We showed last year that we had the pace, but just my qualifying was off. So yeah, I just need to nail them qualifyings and get in the points. And I think if we aim to win the Jack Sears, I think that's an achievable aim. I meant we finished third this year and only 50 points behind Creasy. So yeah, I think that's an achievable aim. We've just got like you say, aim high and see what happens.
Have you got any? I know it's very early on, but have you got any predictions about what's going to happen next season? Who's going to be fighting for the championship, or is it too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. I mean, obviously, the full grid hasn't been announced. Obviously, I think Colin's going to be back, and it's going to be interesting to see if Matt Neal comes back as well.
Yes, definitely.
I have been chatting to him and stuff like that, but he's not really giving me much. I mean, I hope he comes back. Obviously, he's done so many races and he's such a nice person to be associated with. I think the championship it'd be a disappointment if he left.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think Ash will come back wanting to fight for his championship, and I think it'll be a good fight next year. I think there's a lot of people that are re-signing, like Geddy and Smith, Aaron Smith. So I think it's going to be a good grid next year. I think we should have a full grid, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I think Team Hard have so far got a very strong lineup with obviously their collaboration with Laser Tools. And
yeah, that's going to be an interesting little package, that. And obviously they've got their fourth driver. I can't remember when that's getting announced.
Soon, hopefully.
I think it's today, I think it is. So that'll be interesting to see who that is. But yeah, they've got a nice little bundle.
Yeah. So Adam Morgan was your teammate last season in the Mercedes. What was he like as a teammate?
Oh, amazing. Me and Adam have been friends for 4 years or so. As in, I'd go see him if I was in the same paddock, and we'd catch up. And Norm's been a mate for a couple of years as well. So to be able to then go into the team with Adam, it was a privilege, and I learned so much from him. He is one of the nicest guys in racing I have met. Yeah. There was never anything that I asked him. He would just do it and help me if I needed to stay till 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, learning about something. He'd be there helping me, and yeah, it was. I couldn't have wished for a better first team to be able to come into touring cars with. That's for sure. Yeah,
I guess he knows the Mercedes very well because he's been in that car for such a long time.
Yeah, I think it's 6 years or 7 years.
One of the oldest cars on the grid. You're now going to one of the newest cars.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the two are, how they compare. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be very different. Obviously, that it was a hatchback to a saloon. I don't know if it's going to make a difference on how it handles, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to be able to develop the car and hopefully get within the points, like I said.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because obviously it's a new car. As a driver, how much involvement would you have with developing the new car?
Yeah, I'm hoping a lot. Obviously, Procter and Smiley had a massive amount to be able to go into last season with a new car to develop, and I think they've done a phenomenal job as a base setup. I don't think there's much more that we really need to work on. Obviously, never sat in the car, never driven the car, so I don't know what it's like. But them boys have been in the championship long enough to be able to know what to do with a car. And I've got great hope that hopefully we can, even if I ask to Chris or Proctor, what do I do with this or what do I do with that, they'll be more than happy to help me. So yeah, I am really looking forward to be able to go out there and developing the car the same as Chris and Proctor did.
Yeah, I think like you said there, I think that's one of the other great things about British touring cars. Although you're competing against these guys, it always seems everyone's wanting to help each other.
Yeah, there's a massive, everyone, if someone sees you struggling, they will help you. As in, I was struggling massively at Knockhill. Just couldn't get to grips with it. And I spoke to Senna, and he spent a good 10 minutes talking to me, just talking through everything and going from there. And it does make a difference. But yeah, everyone else is amazing in the paddock as well. Yeah,
and I think last season especially, because obviously we didn't really know if we were going to go racing or whatever. So I think everyone really was happy to be there and happy to help. And
yeah, no one ever thought racing would even come, let alone getting pretty much a whole season underway. So yeah, I think we were all just very lucky to be able to get the season under our belt and kind of put 2020 out the way. I know it was a good year for me for a starting year, but I think with the more preparation and stuff like that and training a lot more and stuff like that, I think we'll be able to go and fight for the Sears.
Yeah, do you think, because obviously Dan Rowbottom pulled out and that's who you replaced him at Mercedes, do you think if he hadn't have done that, do you think you would still be aiming to be doing British touring cars in the next year or so?
Yeah, I think it was on the cards. I think I needed to do it. How long it would have taken me to get in there, I don't know. But I was in the right place at the right time with the phone call from Norm, and just jumped straight into it. And we learned as the season was going on. But yeah, it was a definite last minute call, that was for sure.
Yeah, so I presume you've always sort of watched it and followed it as a championship?
Yeah, every time it's on, I was always watching it. Obviously, back in the days of doing F4, I used to go back in the truck, turn it on, and watch it then. And until this day, I was still watching it now. It's obviously, as you know, it's such an iconic series, and it's been going for many, many years. You've had so many names in there. It's mental. So yeah, to be part of it is quite incredible.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you have a favourite driver?
Oh, favourite driver. I don't know. To be fair, I've got on with everyone.
Yeah,
and I think everyone has been so nice to me. Even just because I'm a newbie coming into the series, I thought I'd get a bit of hate and stuff like that. But I didn't get one. I mean, there's such a nice paddock and such nice people. It is a pleasure being there.
Yeah. So obviously next year, the Hyundai, you're driving for Accelerate Motorsport, but they've also sort of collaborated with Trade Price Cars. So obviously we'll be getting 4 Hyundais on the grid.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's brilliant. We can actually go out there and, like I said before, to do the testing, develop the car even more. So instead of it just being 2, be 4 developing the car, which is going to help the process so much more than it would be with just 2. So every car can try a different setup. Okay, that works on that one. This one doesn't work on that one, and learn the process a lot quicker rather than just having 2. So I think it's going to be a massive help to Justina having the 4 cars and collaborating both together and developing a good car.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really looking forward to next season now, and it's not too long. Not too long to wait.
It's not at all. I think we're hoping to test end of Feb, so it's not too long away at all. It's come around quite quick, actually. I was saying at Christmas, God, I just want it to hurry up, and we're now the other side of the year, and it seems like it's just around the corner. I just can't wait to get back in a car. It's been a long time. It's been since November I haven't been in a car, so. From doing loads of racing to doing no racing, it's been very hard.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because obviously this year will be slightly different to other years. with pre-season and all of that kind of stuff. When do you kind of start? I guess.
Yeah, I think we're trying to aim for end of Feb, beginning of March. Obviously, there's no point testing before because the weather's just there's no point. So yeah, that's roughly when we're hoping to test. Fingers crossed we can. Obviously, with everything going on with COVID and stuff, for me in Jersey, it's a bit of a nightmare because every time I travel and go out the island, and then when I come back, I have to self-isolate for 2 weeks.
Of course, yeah.
So I need to make sure that I have enough time for then to come back and do another test, or in case for the media day or something like that, I need to be able to make sure. So with everything going the right way at the moment, it seems like it's going to be going ahead for the end of Feb.
Cool. So what sort of, when you're testing, this is something I don't really know too much about. When you go for like pre-season tests, what sort of stuff do you try out on the car? What do you aim to do in those kind of sessions?
Well, in the Merc, we kind of just wanted to get down to the basics and learn to try and get quicker. I'm guessing in the Hyundai, they'll have a different way of approaching it. That's something I'm going to have to learn. I don't know how they do a run plan. The run plan might be different to how Sicily is. So that's another thing that's going to be quite interesting. But I think there's a lot of things that we need to focus on, just in myself and the team, to be able to make the car go quick.
Yeah, definitely. And I presume they're not going to do like the Autosport International show this year, which will be...
Would have been, I think, this weekend coming
Would
up.
it?
Or,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been this weekend. But yeah, obviously with everything going on, it's it's not been great.
Yeah, I do quite enjoy this time of year because all the teams are doing their announcements, and it's always exciting to see.
It is. It's quite nice because usually I would be in Dubai right now, getting ready for the 24.
Yeah, of course.
Or if I wouldn't be there, I'd be at Autosport. So a bit weird not doing anything. I'd usually be getting in a car or, like I said, going to the Autosport. So yeah, it's very weird not doing anything.
Yeah, definitely. And look to next season. You've got 3 teammates. Do you know who any of them are?
I've got no idea.
No.
I've been trying to get something out of Justina, but she hasn't given me anything. And I don't blame her because
you don't have
just in case it slips out. But yeah, I've got no idea. I have a couple of suspicions, but she hasn't told me anything.
It's always funny when you see everyone trying to guess who's going to be going where, and
it's it was a bit of a shock about Ingram that he's.
I couldn't believe it.
I never ever thought that happened because obviously I was with Speedworks for LMP3.
Yeah.
So me and Tom got on quite well there, and he was part of the furniture there. So for him to leave was, I think, a massive shock to a lot of people. And I don't know where he's going to go. That's another thing that's going to be a bit like, oh, I wonder where he's going to go. So, yeah, I think that's a massive shock.
Have you got any predictions on where he's going to go?
To be honest, I've got no idea. No, I don't know where he would go. I don't know. He might go to Sicily because they've got a car there. He might go to WSR. They've got a new car coming. I don't know. If Matt Neal steps down, is he going to take the Team Dynamic place? I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's too many seats left to be able to go, right, he's going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah, and if he does go to West Surrey or Sicily with the new BMW, he's going to have to learn rear-wheel drive and get used to that, I guess, after the whole time being in...
Well, he's talented enough to be able to jump into a car, and because he did a couple of GT4 races and he was on the pace straight away with them. So he is familiar with a rear-wheel drive, but like you said, it's going to take some time to be able to get into it and go from there. But I really don't know. I think it'll be an interesting one when it comes out.
Yeah, it's interesting when you said with Ingram, because I think it may have been something to do with just there wasn't a deal that was right between him.
Yeah, because I watched his little video he put up, and it was something about a deal or something that didn't happen, which is a shame because he's managed to get that car how he likes it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when when you're negotiating with different teams, how important is like sponsors to do with that? So,
Massively.
yeah,
If I didn't have the sponsors, I wouldn't be racing.
yeah,
So I do everything off sponsorship. So for me, it's a massive part of the racing. So that was another thing we had to talk to Justina about, where the sponsors are going to go, how much is the sponsors going to have, and what are they going to get for their money. So that was a quite an in-depth discussion we had with Justina.
yeah. And I suppose last season it must have been quite difficult because you didn't have things like hospitality. Obviously, no fans were coming into the event. So how has COVID sort of affected that?
Yeah, it's been really hard. I'm quite lucky with one of my sponsors that they're pretty relaxed, and they were just happy to have their name on the car and be in the touring cars.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's like 19 million people watch it throughout the year. So obviously the ratings for last year would probably go up because obviously no one can come. So they were quite happy with just having the name on the car. But I do feel sorry for the people that they want the sponsors to come, and the hospitality is part of the package. And yeah, I think it was hard for some people. I know especially for Car Lube, they wanted the hospitality and bring their guests along, and they didn't get that
really.
this year.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I know Norm is working his absolute best to try and make something of next year, and yeah, they'll do the best they can.
Yeah, it was definitely strange without fans. This has been like the first year since 2013 I hadn't gone.
Yeah, because with British GT, obviously you get some fans, but not anything. So when walking around the paddock, it just felt natural. But I can remember the days in F4 when I was doing it, and the grid, like the things were packed.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm kind of hoping something happens for next year, even if they let a certain amount of people in. I think it needs to happen. They've proven in football that they're now starting to do it. There's no reason why we can't do it now in the motor racing. It's outdoors. There's so much space. I don't see a reason why not.
yeah, so do I. And hopefully us fans will get to some races, and I'll come say hello. So
Definitely, it'd be nice to meet you in person.
well, thank you so very much for your time.
It's not a problem at all.
It's obviously been my first interview, so this has been very cool. Well, thank you very much. And if I don't speak to you soon, best of luck for the new season.
Thank you very much, and we'll hope to see you at the track.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jack.
No worries. Cheers. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.